Hey, Ron.
Yo.
You know any spots?
On today's show,
Hen!
we take a break from work to walk a fall field. This is the kind of hunt dreams are made of.
Rooster!
Protecting your ears is in your hands. We talk about the danger of outdoor fun and hearing loss.
It was time for me to take him on his first.
And when it comes to introducing kids to the outdoors, Kevin Lovegreen puts on quite a show.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill, Millie and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
You know, most folks don't know it. We're a small production company, but Minnesota Bound is just one of 7 different shows that we produce.
Which doesn't leave us with much free time, which is why I called on you, my dad, and Travis Frank to hit the pheasant field.
If Minnesota ever had a dream team, this would not be it.
I remember my first time, too.
I heard that.
Members of the Minnesota Bound television team, Ron Shera, Travis Frank, and Scott Franzen, our leader.
All right, we'll just take it nice and slow.
Yeah,
it's really dry.
It is. Slow fits my speed.
Truthfully, I've never hunted with Ron, and I've never hunted with Bill.
Which is why we all made a point to finally take a break from our work as outdoor television producers to just have a little fun. More importantly, to do it together.
We all work so hard in our little production company. Nobody is ever at home base at the same time. We're always going different directions, right? So to be able to get together as one crew, we've never done this. Hey, Ron.
Yo.
You know any spots?
Well, Scott hunted this and shot them all before we got here.
I know, he said he went scouting.
Yeah, he went scouting.
You saw 3 birds,
And
and you could have had 1 rooster already.
This isn't work. Look at where we are right now. There's pheasants running around out here. We're poking fun at each other. These are good days out here.
See, along with our love of storytelling, we all love bird hunting.
Hen!
Especially the conservation part of the game.
Rooster! Hen! Good girl.
The wild and native grasses and habitat, all so important to the health of Minnesota's landscape and our water. What's good for the land does the same for the wild critters like pheasants.
Typical pheasant hunting, you go into it, you're jacked up, they can just seem like they're everywhere one minute and you can do no wrong, and then all of a sudden the next minute they're nowhere to be found. It's hot outside, it's dry. The conditions right now are brutal, to be honest. This is hell in here. Terrible. It's too dry.
Millie, here. Rooster! Millie, here, come.
I just gotta say, I fired my gun. Everyone in this group is a lot of fun to hunt with, and that's what makes these kind of hunts so memorable. I think that's what everybody wants. We give a lot of crap.
Even so, this team long ago started with one player, this guy.
Rooster! Fetch it up, Daisy. Find it. Yeah, thank you. Whoa, there you are, bud.
yeah.
Yeah. One shot, one bird.
Yeah.
You are a legend.
Still got it.
You still got it.
Magical. He's been shooting pheasants a lot longer than any of us has, right? For Ron to be able to go into a field and still do what he loves, that's a big deal for him and for us.
For me, that's gonna be a highlight moment from this trip.
Oh, just wait. We hunt, but we cook too.
We're gonna heat this up. We're gonna have some appetizers and then a surprise. Time to grill. Prosciutto, bacon.
It smells so good.
That's me.
When you work in the outdoor business, lines become blurred. Working hard or hardly working.
We got a lot of legends around this table.
All the fixings of the perfect adventure.
Rooster!
The definition of a dream team day.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Star Bank, Strike Master, and by Winnebago Industries. Be great outdoors.
Sometimes wearing these may seem like a burden when it comes to hearing all the sights and sounds in the hunting field. Our next story may change your mind on how you feel about hearing protection.
Find him out here. Hunt him up.
When it comes to hunting, there are many sounds and noises we love to hear. Or maybe you didn't hear. Why? Perhaps it was one gunshot some time ago.
Rooster!
Did one shot damage your hearing? We asked an audiology expert.
Conversational speech is about 65 dB. And once you understand that, when you think about a motorcycle, for example, that's 95 dB. Then a concert can be 120 dB, and gunshots typically start at 140 dB, but they've been tracked as high as 175 dB. That's loud.
Whoa, that is loud. So why do we see hunters not wearing hearing protection?
When it comes to people and hearing protection, people don't like to sacrifice what they're used to, what their natural hearing is. They don't want to feel like their senses are impeded by wearing something over their ears or in their ears.
Dr. Hrbek has some thoughts on that.
It's really easy to have a hearing loss as a result from hunting, and certainly any recreational activity that involves either prolonged exposure to noise, but it also can even be from one shot that we call impact sounds. You're either going to be wearing hearing protection now if you're in noisy environments, or you're going to be wearing a hearing aid later.
The beginning stages of hearing loss might feel like this.
People will say they start feeling like sound is muffled. Tinnitus is a perceived ringing, buzzing. Some people say it sounds just like a loud noise in their ear all of the time, but it isn't from an external stimulus. Individuals that have more noise exposure really have to be paying attention to tinnitus as well, because once the damage to the inner ear hair cells happens, it's gone, and you're not getting it back.
Thankfully, hearing technology has greatly improved. As a result, today there are many ways to protect your hearing.
The most common types of hearing protection that we come across in the hearing protection market is your standard foamy plugs, which are cheap, economical. They do work well if you wear them properly, which is a lot of times the concern or the issue that people have, is they don't take the time to read the instructions and really place them inside their ears properly. The second most common is going to be your over-the-ear muffs. They're a little bit more cumbersome. They're bulky. Sometimes when you're shouldering your gun, they can impede your ability to do so properly. The other option is a custom molded product, which Sound Gear specializes in. We actually take an impression of your ear, we build a custom molded product to your ear so it only fits you uniquely.
Sound gear technology blocks out damaging sounds, yet amplifies all the other sounds we want to hear.
So the great thing about custom electronic hearing protection or active hearing protection is it does allow you to maintain situational awareness. You still have directionality and localization. So if you're out pheasant hunting, you flush a bird, you're going to know exactly where it came from.
The moral of the story? Don't let one shot change the rest of your life. You hear me?
It's always better to wear something than nothing. Don't leave it to chance. You know, don't just go out there. A couple shots, you know, does add up over time.
A calming touch is a very important part of developing a healthy relationship with your dog. A calm touch can begin the day you bring your puppy home. And the reason it's important is because if you have a hunting dog or a house dog, you want to be able to touch the dog. You want to be able to trim their toenails. You want to be able to clean out their ears, brush their teeth, take care of the dog. If a dog doesn't trust you touching it, it makes it very challenging. So how does this work? Well, I like to have a dog on an elevated platform like so, just using a cooler here, stand the dog up, and I just gently touch. I start here in the shoulders and I work all the way down her legs, all the way down to her paws. And at first, they might pull away. I'm touching every part of this dog. She's trusting me. She's building trust together. She knows that this is okay. In the future, when she gets older, if I need to take care of her in any way, she's gonna trust me. Calming touch. Start this early in a puppy's life and do it regularly. You'll have a puppy that grows into a dog that trusts you, that you'll always be able to take care of.
Still ahead, Ron Shera shares a duck blind with another dream team from back in the day. But first, this teacher wants everyone to engage in life outdoors. Meet him next.
Closed captioning provided by Clamshell Beach Resort.
Kevin Lovegreen certainly did not start out doing nature shows and writing kids' books. But you know what? That's where life led him. Ron Shera with Kevin's Tale.
Welcome, how are you? Yeah, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hello there, how are you? Good to see you guys. Looks like we're ready to rock. Are you guys ready? I am Kevin Lovegreen, but let's pretend it's middle of winter. It's pitch black outside, but there's a full moon above you and a lot of stars. And you're cooking marshmallows at a bonfire, and I want you to close your eyes and picture that. And when I do this call, don't say what you think it is. 3, 2, 1, here we go. All right, what do we think it is? A wolf.
Another performance, another nature lesson in a school gymnasium. Kevin Lovegreen, an Eagan resident, is Minnesota's Pied Piper of Mother Nature.
If you hear something howling in the woods and it sounds like it has a bellyache, oh, and it's moaning, that's probably a timber wolf. If you hear something that sounds more like it's laughing or barking, that's probably a coyote.
On this day, Lovegreen is talking to students from the Onamia School District. Sharing his nature stories has turned into a full-time job.
So last year I did 51. This year so far I got almost 50 lined up again, and I've been now in New York to Texas I'm going next week into Wisconsin, Stevens Point, Wisconsin area. I'm going to Alabama this year, so I fly all over the country, and it's been just a true blessing.
It's also true kids ask the dangdest questions.
How big is the biggest fish you've caught?
How big is the biggest fish? Does anybody want to see my biggest buck first? There's the biggest deer. 9-point buck, but he was 256 pounds. He was 5.5 years old, but you asked me my biggest fish, didn't you? Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, did it work out? There's my biggest fish.
Lovegreen's fishing and hunting yarns also have their own twists and turns. From a family-owned metal fabrication shop to a famed author of children's adventure books.
I got 20 of the Lucky Luke Adventure books. I got 2 faith books. Grandma introduced me to My Friend Jesus. It's definitely for kids. And then I wrote one called Give Faith a Chance. I'd say that's more for adults or anybody.
During his nature lessons, Lovegreen doesn't shy from hunting stories, including a close encounter with a bull elk in a mud hole.
So he's me to you way, and I'm looking up at him, and he's looking down at me. And I hear him sniffing. I think he's trying to smell me. I don't know if the elk is gonna run away. I don't know if the elk is gonna run me over. And then all of a sudden, do you guys know what happened? I can't tell you the story. Oh my goodness, no way. You have to read the Muddy Elk to find out what happened, you guys.
Lovegreen's audience usually goes from kindergarten to 6th graders.
I'm amazed at how much they know. I'm amazed at how young the kids are starting hunting. These small towns I go to, unbelievable. I mean, they're 8, 9, 10 years old and they're out there deer hunting. Well, that just warms your heart. It's unbelievable. Do you guys turkey hunt? Quite a few of you? All right. Lucky Luke was 10 years old and it was time for me to take him on his first turkey hunt, you guys. And we went out and the first thing I did is a few calls. Well, all of a sudden, these 2 turkeys showed right up. Do you guys know the name of these turkeys? There's a special name. What is it? Jakes! These are jakes, you guys.
To know the end of his turkey hunt, Lovegreen refers to a book, Turkey Tales, Winner, Winner, Turkey Dinner, complete with an animal sound. And so goes the Pied Piper, with more animal calls and videos, more questions, more stories for his young audience, planting the idea that nature is a grand show for them to discover.
What really interested us in Kevin's work was the fact that he really tied in the outdoors. And one thing that we really think about when it comes to like engaging early readers is readers need to see something that they're really interested in, and that gets them motivated to read more.
So you guys pick up books that you love, continue to read, and continue to get smarter. You guys keep being amazing. Thank you so much.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by OnX Hunt. Visit Brainerd. And by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Today's Minnesota Bound Classic came from a dark spot way in the back corner of our old video vault.
Back to the day when Ron decided to take some old friends hunting.
For 13 seasons, number 14 embodied the spirit of the Minnesota Twins. Bloomington's own Kent Hrbek helped lead the way to 2 world championships. Herbie relied on his outdoor roots to get him through some pressure-packed games.
Yeah, the morning of the 6th game of the World Series, or 7th game of the World Series, I went out duck hunting. I couldn't sleep anyway.
Did TK get on your case?
Nobody knew about it before. I couldn't tell anybody. I probably wouldn't have told anybody after if we would have lost either. But we won, so I could brag about it.
Duck hunting on the morning of a big game? Well, in Minnesota, it's become the pregame ritual. Back in the 1970s, I went duck hunting with then Vikings head coach Bud Grant. We were out the day before an NFL championship game.
I'd rather sweat in a duck blind than I would sitting around fidgeting, waiting for the game to come on.
Do you remember how that game came out?
I can't remember.
It was the Cleveland game.
Oh, was it? Was that the game?
Yeah, and you tromped them like 48-14 or something like that.
Well, I should have gone duck hunting more often then.
So what is it about duck hunting? How does time spent waterfowling make a difference in the pregame preparations? Kevin Mchale, who's won his share of world championships, heads down to the swamp before a big game or now a big deal.
If I'm thinking about making a trade or something's coming up or it's a deal or the team's played poorly, I want to just get some energy out. Something about the fresh air outdoors always has done that for me.
Clearly, there must be a connection between the swamp and a winning attitude. But think about it. Look at the ducks. The winners, they're flying high. The low ones, well, they finished last.
Not a bad crew, but I still am convinced our dream team is better.
Me too, Bill, me too. Well, that about does it for us. We hope to see you back here next week.
In the meantime, Millie, what do we always say? Remember to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.